Just welcome to another episode of After Credits. I'm Barnyard, and with me is my apparition friend Daniel. We in Brittany. We have Brittany in the back. I can't forget her.
Never.
And we just got out of seeing Ghostbusters. Well, we did about an hour ago. And what were your initial thoughts, Daniel?
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, I feel the same. It was meh, in my opinion. Daniel here, he loved it. I mean, he was just cracking at all the Melissa McCarthy jokes, and he was just loving it. Oh, hello. We'll get back to that later. Hey, Daniel.
Hey.
I already did the intro.
Yeah, that's good. Need a spoiler alert yet?
No, I didn't.
Alright. Spoiler alert.
Oh, we're starting just like
you don't want to know anything about this movie, which, I mean, if you're watching this, you want to know everything about this movie. Then, but if you don't want to know the nitty-gritty, click the time code right there. It'll take you to our spoiler-free part of the review, where we give a little bit of a summary and our scores out of 6 stars. So, guys, Ghostbusters 2016, or Ghostbusters Answer the Call, or Female Ghostbusters, or whatever the hell we're deciding to call this, because Sony doesn't know what the fuck to do with itself.
I feel like Sony is the EA of the movie industry.
That seems about accurate.
What I did really like about it is the characters that names in the movie, Patty and Holtzman. I thought those two characters were definitely the best part of the Ghostbuster group. Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, in my opinion, were very meh.
Were they Abby and
Aaron.
Yeah, their characters just seem generic. They just seem, you know, I've seen Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig before. You know, this just seemed very downhill. Not downhill, but like they could have portrayed their characters a lot better, but they were too focused on trying to make them silly and stuff. What I did like about Holtzman and Patty, the two other female Ghostbusters, you know, Patty would do stuff that was funny. You know, she would, you know, just she was like the realest one in the group, just for being like, you know, yelling and just, you know, it's like, you know, I have a ghost on my fucking shoulders. I'm just gonna go home. I'm gone. Bye. And then Holtzman is just fucking crazy.
For everything in the trailer, I feel like it's a 180. Like in the trailer, I loved Holtzman and Patty, and in the movie, I thought Patty was just okay, and Holtzman got annoying.
I thought she was charming.
Holtzman got annoying?
Holtzman got really annoying. Throughout the entire movie, if you look in the background, it seems like the director just told her, act like a weirdo.
Well,
like,
she is a weirdo.
She's a weirdo.
I know, but it's so random that it's as if she's not a human being.
She's eccentric.
So the movie stars Erin Gilbert, played by Kristen Wiig. She's a professor at Columbia University, a physics professor, and going up for tenure, and the past starts to haunt her when she's accosted by this guy who is a fan of her previously lowest selling book in history.
It wasn't
ghost film.
He wasn't a fan. He was this owner of this what was it called?
The mansion.
The mansion. Aldridge Mansion.
Aldridge Mansion.
Some historical.
That's literal the first 5 minutes of the film, and you know he's explaining that, you know, something strange and paranormal is going on, and he saw this book and he read it, and he's like, I'm gonna go ask this woman if she can investigate my
disturbances.
Museum, my disturbances. And then she goes up and says like, oh, where'd you get that book? You know, and she was like very worried because she wrote that years ago with her then best friend Abby, who's played by
Melissa McCarthy.
Thank you.
Found it out.
Shut up. And, since she's a physics professor in a very well-known college, she cannot have this leaking out, especially if she's up for tenure.
One of my favorite secondary characters in this movie is the Dean of Columbia College, played by Game of Thrones guy Charles Dance.
Tywin Lannister.
I fucking love that guy in everything he's in. Like, he was in Dracula Untold, and I loved him in that movie. Yeah, he was. Oh my god, he's just sitting there like, this university cannot have this silly, frivolous ghost action about. She goes to visit Abby at some fourth-rate technical community college where she and Holtzman, played by Kate McKinnon, are working out their paranormal physics brouhaha.
Technology.
Yeah. Aaron tells Abby and Holtzman about the Aldridge phenomenon. They all go visit, find out ghosts are real, and shit happens. And from there, they all just kind of become a team and become the Ghostbusters. And so you're wondering, where does Patty fit in? Patty works as a metro station, I guess, attendant? Or clerk?
Yeah, she works in the subways.
Yeah, she works in subways. And she sees a ghost of her own too, and so whenever she asks the Ghostbusters for help, she gets drawn into this group, and the Ghostbusters have a functionally retarded Chris Hemsworth playing Kevin, the receptionist.
Is a little generous.
Well, I mean, he
was able to answer the phone.
He can eat, drink, answer the phone. He can ride a motorcycle. Well,
or take the lens out of your glasses.
He wanted to look cool.
You know, the worst part is I know people who've done that in real life.
The lenses of my glasses kept getting dirty, so I just took them out.
The secret of this movie is that everything Chris Hemsworth does probably has a rational explanation for it. They just don't explain it because ghosts and shit.
Did you know an aquarium's a submarine for fish?
Well,
that made sense though.
Yeah, see? It all makes sense. It's Hemsworth logic.
They're submerging in the air, which isn't their natural environment.
Not like Liam Hemsworth logic, but,
oh god.
You know.
What?
Even a functionally retarded Chris Hemsworth is still a million times better than Liam. My favorite part about this actually is all the characters. I do think that the actresses and the way they play off each other is really, really extraordinary, including McCarthy and Wig. The thing about McCarthy and Wig is that, to me, they are so terrible when trying to be funny and over the top, where here, I like the fact that Melissa McCarthy isn't making a fat joke every 5 minutes, and she's more subdued. And honestly playing... Yeah, thank God. And honestly playing the straight woman. And Kristen Wiig, I kind of like her as this really insecure, this insecure, anxious person. And it totally makes sense throughout the movie, given her, like, bullying background. Like, she was bullied as a kid for apparently seeing a ghost on her bed, which... Okay, they explained that she saw the ghost one night, and she kept seeing the ghost every day for a year.
Why didn't her parents, like, stay the night with her or something to see it?
Like
how they'll check for monsters under your bed?
Don't be a bitch!
Okay.
For an entire year? God, her parents are some kind of work, aren't they? Those are probably the kind of parents that threw her in the swimming pool as a kid and goes, stop drowning, you fucking pussy. And when you try to go up for air, Kristen Wiig's parents just like punch her in the head and go, get down there!
Learn, bitch!
Hold your breath! The one thing I didn't like is whenever she's just harping about how Kevin is so hot.
That was really uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
Her obsession?
Yeah.
Borderline obsession?
It was uncomfortable. It was just...
Her desperation made me a little...
It was stupid.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess.
It was stupid. Cameos were the really best part of this film. In my opinion. I like... Bill Murray made a cameo. Dan Aykroyd made a cameo. Ozzy Osbourne... His was lackluster. But Ozzy Osbourne made a cameo. What's the black guy from Ghostbusters' name?
Wow, you're fucked up.
I don't know his name.
Ernie Hudson.
He's not.
Ernie Hudson is the baddest motherfucker in the world.
What else is he in?
Congo, man.
I've never seen Congo.
You need to fucking watch Congo.
Just adding on the fucking pile from the last video.
The thing about the cameos is that I like that they're kind of included in the story.
Yeah.
That they're not just random, except for the Ozzy cameo, which really is just...
So sad.
Black Sabbath is almost broken up, and you just see Ozzy and Ghostbusters going, Sharon! For the 50th fucking time. Dan Aykroyd's cameo looked like he's so fucking bored. Bill Murray looked like he was having a lot of fun, though.
Yeah. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man makes a small cameo.
That was fucking terrible.
As a fucking parade balloon.
Like,
really?
someone got paid to write that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, amongst the parade of creepy 1920s-esque balloons, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who is not of the 1920s, but the 80s, but is here for some random fucking reason, yes, that is all in the script, decides to show up and squish Patty, Abby, and Holtzman. And it looked a little rapey when he did it. Because, like, as he's falling down, he's like, he. Last night, I was checking the theaters to make sure people weren't on their phone. And so while doing that, I saw most of Ghostbusters. And so what I thought was going to happen was they were going to redo the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the first one, where he's the giant monster just walking around. But, and this is one of the dumbest fucking things about this movie, the giant ghost at the end is literally the Ghostbusters logo.
He looked like a sack of potatoes.
He really did.
He looked like he looked like a dried up ball of jizz. Like, it is, like, it's like if you jizzed on something and just let it bake in the sun for a few days.
I'm not even gonna ask how you know what that looks like.
It's a decent CGI effect, but, you know, throughout this entire movie, the ghosts look really cool. Like, the ghosts look the way that they died. Like, there's one ghost that's near the subway in the third rail that was like an inmate that had gotten killed by the electric chair. And then there's
really
the
cool.
dragon at the rock concert.
I don't get why there's a dragon.
It's a rock concert. Who the hell cares? But it's a dragon. Like, it looks cool. And your final ghost at the end of this movie is the Ghostbusters logo.
How original.
It was a little clever, just a little bit though, because the what was his name? Rowan. He was in the cafe sketching the logo, and he. Sorry, there's a bee in here. I'm sorry. Oh my god. What is that? What is that? What is it?
It's not a bee.
I don't know, but it's getting out. I'm sorry.
Killed it.
Is it out?
No.
Please kill it.
Speaking of Rowan, that villain,
He was weird.
it wasn't just weird. It legitimately fell out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like this guy, he was bullied all his life, you know. Oh, he was a weirdo his entire life. And his only way of getting people back was to release ghosts into New York City.
Again, you say this out loud, and this sounds preposterous. So a guy has been bullied his entire life. So, I mean, let's be fair, he could have done a lot worse. He could have been the guy that, like, the jocks turned into the police, and he could have, like, gone on rooftops. He could have gone into an elementary school and shot up some kids. He could have driven a truck through, like, 85 people.
Instead, he just opened up the gate of hell and let out every single
Well,
soul.
I mean, think about it. That's only because he was smart. Most of, like, for all intents and purposes, if you tell someone, I'm gonna open up the gates of hell and pull out all these ghosts, and then you'll learn. It's like, it's okay.
You do that.
He at least chose the most impractical way to get revenge. Now, the fact that he happened to get it is really a credit to his intelligence, but I'm just saying, as far as intentions go, I'm kind of on his side here. The villain in this movie has no connection with the Ghostbusters, has really no connection with the rest of the plot. He's just a guy that has been bullied, and so what he wants to do is open up a portal to Ghostland and rule the world.
Just, yeah.
I don't get it.
Because apparently in his main plan, he planned to kill himself and come back as the leader of all these ghosts.
I love how in his plan, he has sketched out the idea that someone is eventually going to stop me, so in an act of revenge, I will kill myself, become a ghost, possess another person, and then finish the plan. Honestly, you would think that with so many people up this movie's ass before it released, that Sony would have made sure everything was direct. Like, everything was perfect, everything was straight. You would have ironed out all the details. You would have gotten a million opinions before you even thought of putting something out like this. And this movie really feels stuffed.
Does it? Oh, yeah.
It kind of does. Like,
all the cameos and shit. At the end of the credits, we get a post-credit scene. There is a post-credit scene. It shows the 4 girls, at their lab, and Abby, or Patty, is listening to EMP or VMPs or whatever it's called. They're listening to ghost recordings, and then she keeps playing it back, and she says, "Guys, what's Zool?" And so I was like, "Shit, there's gonna be a second one."
not just a second one. And here's the thing. I haven't seen Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2. But because I exist on the internet, I know the entire movie.
Same.
Yeah. And it's...
Neither of you have fucking seen Ghostbusters?
I've seen it as a kid. It's one of my mom's favorite movies. But it's a distant memory.
Not even as... I excuse you. Not even as a kid?
I don't remember a single scene from it, though.
No, I was never shown it as a kid. What ends up happening with that Zool line is that this isn't just a reboot, but in a weird way, a prequel. Because Zool's the first movie. So
Zool is the first movie.
They're implying that this sequel, Ghostbusters 2018, is the remake of Ghostbusters 1984. So they haven't... So is this Sony's way of saying, haha, we didn't ruin your childhood, that's next year? My favorite part of this movie is whenever Holtzman is fighting on her own with those fucking, like, plasma whips slash, like tasers and shit. Like, it's kind of great. He's just going around whipping all these ghosts, and occasionally will just send, like, a current of plasma shock through them. And it looks badass.
Alright, so if you press on the time code, welcome to our non-spoiler part of the review. Like we mentioned a lot in our spoiler one, characters we thought some were good, some were and there were a lot of cameos. The film, it was alright. It was spotty a little bit. It felt congested.
I really wish this were a dumpster fire so I would have more to say about it. As is, it is yet another example of an existing property being given a modern, lesser reboot. You don't really need to go see this in theaters.
You can if you want.
It's a fun time.
We're not going to recommend it, but
Yeah, no.
we're not going to stop.
I'd recommend a rental for sure. This is the epitome of rental.
I feel like it's something that you should see in theaters. If you take our opinion for anything, definitely wait till the dollar theater. So in that, we're going to get the scores. We had 4 other people go see this movie with us, but of course it's only us 3.
Of course it is.
One of our people that you have not seen on camera yet, his name is Noah. He gave it a 2.5. Liam gave it a 2.5. Dakota gave it a 3.5. Miranda gave it a 3.0. Brittany?
3.
Brittany gives it a 3. Daniel?
If you watched our Angry Birds review, you know that we've got this bet going on on whether Ghostbusters was going to be good or not. If I give Ghostbusters anything higher than a 3, if I give it a 3.5 out of 6 or higher, I will shave my head.
If I like it, I'll shave my beard.
Oh shit! Threshold of that was a 3.5. And honestly, there are points in this when I was gonna go that positive route. I was like, you know what? This is okay. But the way I described it is, it's like being with your friend in the car whenever he just learned how to drive. And you're on the highway and the friend's getting his confidence and he's going faster and he's having fun, but then he gets randomly scared and just puts on the brakes. And so you're driving cool, brake, driving cool, brake. And so this movie's going in stride and there's some really funny jokes and there's some cool action scenes, but then there's a big block of stupid shit. And there's so many blocks and so many breaks that I ultimately just gotta give it a 3. It's an okay movie. I can understand if you like it. Hey, more power to you. I'd honestly just recommend it as a rental.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I was in the very middle of this. I knew I wasn't gonna give it more than a 4. I knew I couldn't go less than a 2, so I'm just gonna go middle ground with a 3. If you go in with an open mind, I think you'd like it.
I think you'll be alright with
No,
it.
maybe you should go in taking seriously.
No, Ghostbusters. Come on.
Yeah.
It's fucking Ghostbusters. Answer the call, SJW Warriors. I don't know.
That's something I do have to say about that. I'm very glad it wasn't like feminist propaganda like the trailer made it out to be.
Well,
There were undertones, but it wasn't
there
in
are
your
undertones,
face,
yeah.
women, and
The
all
whole,
that.
you know, they're reading the comment sections of YouTube, and it's like, ain't no bitches gonna hunt no
yeah, but
ghosts.
those are like realistic things, not
Isn't that sad?
PSAs, right?
Isn't that sad how ain't no bitches gonna hunt no ghosts is actually realistic
It's
for our
not
comment
like-
section?
I'm a woman and I'm gonna fight ghosts. There's no like victory speech like that or anything, and I'm thankful.
2.9.
2.9!
Just
As
almost average.
generic as you can fucking get. I've got written reviews for The Infiltrator up at HalfKock's website. It's, spoiler alert, it's a lot better than the Ghostbusters. But that is on the HalfKocked Facebook page and I believe Twitter as well. We've got those descriptions down below. We're trying to come back next week with Star Trek Beyond. We might, this is a huge might, go see Lights Out. That comes out next week.
Oh yeah, because we were supposed to see that the other night.
Yeah. But
Daniel fucked up.
my favorite is coming out. We got Hillary's America next week, people. We've got the anti-Hillary propaganda documentary that has a 6 on Metacritic. And if I don't bring Matt into that review, I will hate myself.
So if you liked the video, please like the video. If you want to tell us how you felt about this movie, or how we felt in the review, or just how you didn't feel it, or how you did feel it, yada yada yada, comment down below. We do respond to all comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We are known for posting silly shit and updates on different movies, different shows, what's out, what's not out, and stuff like that.
Alright, y'all have a good night. See ya.